Let me tell you how Jiu-Jitsu has been the best Band-Aid or therapy for me, death, but also divorce, and really just life in general. So you're probably going through something if you clicked on this video. Welcome. Consider subscribing and make sure you guys like the video and share it if you are a fan of this content. Let me tell you guys how Jiu-Jitsu for me has been an outlet and almost better than therapy. Let me tell you about the bullshit I've been through over the last year and a couple months. First on the list is a divorce from my high school sweetheart. Picture this: 4 kids, the perfect life, got a house, the American dream, right? The American dream. That happened last September of 2024. We are now in September of 2025. The divorce is one thing. And on top of that, death. I've never experienced death. Death is crazy. Really, life is crazy. But if you can't understand life, how are we going to understand death? I've lost my grandma and my Nino and another person that was pretty close to not only myself, but my family. So let me tell you guys how Jiu-Jitsu has been a way to exercise out the demons that are deep within you. Let's go over a couple of things that, in my experience, and a lot of people that I know and that I train with, on how Jiu-Jitsu has been better than therapy. And matter of fact, talking about therapy, I tried to do therapy while going through all the shit I was going through, but I couldn't get through, even though the therapy was paid for through the company I was working for at the time. But let's get into it. If you guys are going to start your journey in Jiu-Jitsu, make sure you stay to the end of the video. I got 5 tips I'm going to give you that'll help you not only excel, but also learn more about not just the martial art in itself, but also for your own well-being. Let's get into it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going through a breakup or whatever if you click the video, but if you want the nitty-gritty of my divorce situation, it's pretty fucked on some Maury TV type bullshit. So if you're curious about that, then make sure you join the membership down below. It's $2 a month, and I'll provide you guys some deep, dirty content that will not be provided to the public videos that are on the YouTube channel. All right, let's get into it. And a little introduction and context about myself. My name is Nick. I'm 33. I got 4 kids. Life has been so interesting over the last year and a couple months. So September of last year, which would be 2024, I got some history about my ex-wife. That's one thing. This happened literally so quick for me. I had no way to communicate to really anyone about what I was going through at the time. It was embarrassing. It was dirty. It was a myriad of emotions that I was going through at the time, and I really didn't know what to do. But then it clicked in my brain, right? I've been super consistent with my Jiu-Jitsu since last July. So July of 2024. So I got all the news about all this shit that was going down with my wife at the time back in June of 2024. So July of 2024 is when I started to really get back into training, because I had no really other answer to how to deal with what I was going through. And not really in the sense of violence, but in the sense of, I remember the feeling that I got when I first stepped onto the mats. I didn't start Jiu-Jitsu for the first time July of last year. I actually started 2 years ago, but I was only able to, at that time, I was able to afford just enough for a couple of classes a month. I really wasn't so much focused on myself. My kids will always come before me, and that was really what I was really entitled to at that time. So I tried out one class. I got my ass mauled by the coach that owns the gym, and it kind of sparked up something in my brain where, I don't know, the jiu-jitsu bug bit me, in other words. That was one thing, but it came to my mind. As adults that are not felonious, we have the ability or the amendment to carry these beautiful things, right? Children cannot. Speaking of firearms, let's get into the sponsors of the channel. I was able to easily access my Glock 45, by my soft hold gun magnet. So they sent this out to the channel. about a year and a half ago, I literally have these things set everywhere. They're these beautiful little magnets. They're earth magnets that will literally hold up to an AR-15, an axe, really whatever you want, within like 10 to 12 pounds. My Glock probably weighs like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. But the soft hold gun magnets is what you need. Iron Infidel, the absolute best gym bottle that you will ever lay your hands on. Being a trash truck driver for the last 13 or so years, I've never in my whole life, and I wholeheartedly mean this, this company does some sort of voodoo magic bullshit to where this jug will keep your water cold in 130 degree environment with ease. I don't know what they do, but this has been the best gym bottle, period. Make sure you order one. Hit the links in the description if you're interested in helping out the channel. So us as adults can carry firearms, right? And I mean, of course, that's not the first method that you should use if you ever come within some sort of a violent encounter. Of course, you should be able to throw some hands, but there's so many different options that us adults can do in order to protect ourselves or our loved ones. Children are so innocent, and for them to know a martial art, in my eyes, is just it's probably the best thing you could do as a parent or even as just an adult. Let's say maybe you want to get your niece or your nephew or whatever into a martial art. I definitely recommend Jiu-Jitsu as the top of the list for sure. Striking, of course, you can't rely on Jiu-Jitsu for everything, but I'd probably start with grappling, number one. I was having my kids do more training than what I was. I was more focused on them learning the discipline, the self-defense, just all the good stuff that comes with Jiu-Jitsu. So that was one thing. Once my life started going into shambles, all I could think about was, what could I do to get my mind off everything that's going on? It was so much shit to decipher for the time being. I almost didn't know what to do. When you get stuck as a man, and you have no way to get your demons out of you in a healthy way, right? Of course you could drink. Of course you could go and have sex with all the females you want. Nothing's really going to satisfy what is deep down inside of you, besides something that will not only stimulate your brain, but do something good for your body, i.e. get out the dopamine, the endorphins, all that good stuff, right? I mean, people handle problems in so many different ways. I mean, there's so many different things that are not healthy that people do, right? Then you get stuck into a situation that is even worse than what you were in the first place, right? So a light bulb hit me. Boom. I'm going to go and try out Jiu-Jitsu. Because I remember it was almost like nothing mattered at all. All of my problems went away. I literally couldn't focus on nothing but what was going on the mats at that time. Nothing matters when you're on the mats. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter the problems that you're going through. It doesn't matter if you're having car problems. Like, literally nothing matters. Why? I don't know. But I do know that all that shit goes away. All you could focus on is trying to stay alive, trying to either choke out or break one of your training partner's limbs. I don't understand what it is. I don't understand what sort of magic happens when you step on the mats, but it's almost like you get a clear vision of what's in front of you, the problems that you're having on the mats at that time. It might sound a little corny, but it's almost like something primitive comes out of you that you can't think of literally nothing but not dying when you're on the mats because you get choked out. You get the circulation of your blood cut off to your brain. I mean, you literally could be put out in a few seconds by someone that's good enough. An arm breaking, a leg breaking, shoulder breaking, dislocating, whatever. Nothing matters when you're on the mats. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from training over the last year consistently. Now, mind you, just the way you can get addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, you can get addicted to jiu-jitsu also. So if you do start and you do feel yourself getting addicted, think about it in the way of what my coach had said. Because if you are a man like I am, or a female like I am with the same mentality or whatever, you're going to get on the mats. That bug's going to bite you, and you're not going to want to do nothing but train constantly and constantly and constantly and constantly. When I first started, I think for the first 2 months, maybe 3 months, I almost went 6 days a week, which is nuts. I am in the best shape of my life right now at age 33 than what I was back in my 20s or late teens or whatever. And training 5 days in a row, like what I did this last week, my body is killing me. And I mean, I am like at the very top of my fitness game right now. With the 72-hour fast that I like to do, to drop weight, to get mental clarity, to get spiritual clarity. I mean, I cannot recall a time where I felt so good in my life. So thinking about it now, with me being in the shape that I am now, I still ache and get sore and feel, I mean, maybe it's because I'm at age 33 or whatever, and maybe the fast that I did over the last week, but when you first start, even though your body is like completely dying, that's what it feels like at least, you're going to want to go 5, 6, 7 times a week and still being addicted to something if you want to go and do something 5, 6, 7 times a week, right? So don't let your life revolve around jiu-jitsu. Make sure you let jiu-jitsu be your way to not escape life, but to deal with life's problems. That's a big takeaway. Number 2, life's challenges often contribute to heightened stress levels. I'm sure, as you know firsthand, engaging in physical activity, really any sort of physical activity, it's been shown to facilitate a reduction in stress levels. And there's a reason behind it. What happens when you do any sort of physical activity, you decrease your cortisol levels, which you decrease your cortisol levels and your endorphins are increased, which has been shown to collectively promote resilience and just a better sense of your well-being. There's something that you'll feel, it's like clarity when you're on the mats. I remember the first time I went and tried out jiu-jitsu. It was a Saturday. It was my ex-wife and myself. I remember getting my ass kicked, right? In no other way that I've experienced in my life. And it wasn't like coach was hurting me. He was actually really gentle. It was the weirdest experience. And unless you try it, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But after the 45 minutes that we were there, I remember getting in the car and I could not wipe the smile off my face for no joke, like at least an hour. At that time, I wasn't in the best shape of my life. I just remember being happy, even though I was getting my ass kicked. It's a wild experience. The stress relief is a huge deal. Relieving all the stress in your life just makes you a better person, makes you a happier person. It makes you a more enjoyable person to be around. You don't ever want to be around stressful people, I'm sure, as you know. The stress relief you feel on the mats is probably a reason alone just to get yourself onto the mats. The most beautiful part is that jiu-jitsu is for everyone. It doesn't matter how out of shape you are. It doesn't matter if you hit the gym. I have a friend that wanted to come and try the mats out so bad. I've tried over and over to explain to one of my friends that it doesn't matter how out of shape you are. Some people wait until they're in shape enough to go and try out jiu-jitsu. You don't need to be in shape to try out jiu-jitsu. You will get in shape by trying out jiu-jitsu. When I first stepped onto the mats, I was not in shape at all whatsoever. At the time I started, I was 217 pounds. Training alone, just getting yourself on the mats, will literally put you in shape. So if you're overweight or if you're not in the best shape of your life, don't be shy and don't let it hold you back. You will get into shape by starting out and training jiu-jitsu if you're consistent with it. Number 3, problem-solving skills. This is the biggest factor to me that has helped me get through the divorce, through death, through getting fired from my job recently. But there's so many different things that happen in life that jiu-jitsu will help you out with. To be able to solve a problem and be methodical and strategic and tactical about whatever problems you got going on at the time being. When you train long enough, you'll start to realize, oh, if I go and take this problem in the same aspect I would with jiu-jitsu, it would be a hell of a lot easier. Let me give you guys a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. So for my circumstances, number one that I can think about is the divorce. Now, with the divorce, I was not the one that initiated it. Sure, you can fight for your wife to stay with you. You can fight for your girlfriend to stay with you, your boyfriend to stay with you. You shouldn't have to. If someone wants to leave, let them. If you can control your breathing in whatever situation you're going through at the time, right? So you control your breathing, you can control the way you react to things. You can control not spazzing out, really how to take whatever problem that you're experiencing at the time with ease, with some sort of thinking behind your actions. There's so many different situations that I had went through with my divorce that really jiu-jitsu helped out so much. Not in the self-defense aspect, of course, but the thinking aspect. You learn to deal with whatever you're going through with the best timing that you could possibly do, which jiu-jitsu, if you haven't started yet, you're going to learn timing and technique is everything. You can be strong, you can have strength, you can have muscles. I mean, none of that matters because timing and technique, not only in jiu-jitsu, but also in life, will overrule it every time. Every time, I promise you. Number 4, the community that comes with the people at the jiu-jitsu gym is something so special. I was talking to one of my friends just recently, and you grow a relationship with your training partners that it's really like nothing else that you'll experience on the streets, at school, at work, whatever, right? There's something that comes out of entangling with another human, fighting another human. I mean, I don't really know how to explain the bond that's created on the mats, but it's so weird and it's so beautiful. I caught myself like 3 or 4 months ago inviting over one of my training partners to not only feed my training partner, right, but to feed him a meal that took 9 hours to cook. And I didn't even know the dude's last name. I didn't know the age of this guy. All I know is that, I fucking love this dude. Like, we literally go to war on the mats all the time. I know I could trust him. That's probably a big factor. That's a huge thing too, is learning how to trust a human to not keep going if they got you in a choke, right? Because all it takes is maybe like 3 to 5 seconds to put someone's lights out. But if someone holds it, right, and you lose enough oxygen or blood flow to your brain, I mean, you could literally be brain dead for the rest of your life. It's the wildest sport that I could think of, or hobby, or whatever, or martial art. You're literally doing murder yoga. Like, that's what it comes down to, right? So that's a whole nother topic that we could talk about for days. But this video is already getting long enough. So number 5, building up your self-confidence. I know a lot of men, and actually a lot of women, aren't self-confident. I don't know why. I was super self-confident before even training jiu-jitsu. And that's really just my extroverted personality. When you go to war on the mats every day or a couple of times a week or whatever, there's something that will boost up your self-confidence that kind of makes you walk around with like almost a different demeanor. Not a aggressive demeanor, but you kind of have more pep in your step. And not only do I notice it with myself, but with my 3 sons, they totally have that same pep in their step. And it's because of the jiu-jitsu training that they've done, the wrestling training they've done, and probably a little bit of the boxing training. But they know they can handle their own. And especially against people that are bigger than them. They've watched their daddy literally manhandle men that are double my size. I'm not big at all. I am 5'6", and right now I am at the lowest weight that I've been in probably like 12 years, maybe longer than that. I don't know. But right now I'm at like 190-ish. 190 to like 193 is what I'm hovering at right now. But I'm not a big guy. I mean, to my sons, of course I'm big, right? Big back. That's what these damn kids call me. When they watch their daddy use the skills that I've learned at class on the mats. So when they see their daddy handle a man that's double my size with ease, and I'm talking not only in weight, but also, I mean, of course, not double in height. A foot and a half taller than me. I mean, it just kind of, it makes you realize size isn't everything. Of course, it plays a big factor in a lot of things. And sure, it is advantageous on the mats, but the people that use the strength and size to their advantage really loses at the end of the day, because technique, like I said, technique and timing is literally everything. Double write that in your notes if you're taking notes. But I'm telling you, my sons have really just taken everything from what they've learned on the mats, not in just jiu-jitsu, but wrestling also. But they've learned to take that and understand, hey, if shit went south, I can handle myself. My oldest son has actually used it in a self-defense situation already, and he's barely 9. I think it's probably been like a year and a half that he had to use jiu-jitsu as self-defense, as a way to handle himself defensively. You want some content on that? You want some more context on that, or a whole video? I will happily make it. Now for women need to know how to be able to not more so put a man out, like put him to sleep in a choke or break their limbs or break their arms or whatever. Women will be at such an advantage to another male that's not trained. Now in the aspect of women, of course, if a 5'1", 5'2", 100-pound woman goes up against a man that's even 5'7", 5'8", 6 foot, whatever, if they're outweighed, the dude's way bigger than them. I mean, of course, jiu-jitsu isn't the answer for everything, like I was saying, but it will definitely give that female at least a few seconds to defend herself, or maybe break the dude's arm, whatever. I mean, there's stories on the news. I mean, stories are everywhere about how a young girl was able to fight off an attacker because of the skills she's learned from jiu-jitsu or whatever. But in my eyes, everyone needs the self-confidence that comes from what's learned on the mats, because any sort of criminal can tell if you're a victim by the way you walk. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Criminal will know if you're a victim or not. There's a demeanor that will change in your walk and your physical body when you know how to handle yourself. And in this day and age, you need every tool possible to be able to live life comfortably. If you guys are in for the bonus tips, let me give you 5 tips that will help you excel in your jiu-jitsu game when you start, if you're going to start, or even if you are going to train right now. I've only been training for a year and some change. I got 2 stripes on my white belt, and I'm actually training more gi than no gi. I'll give them to you guys real quick. Number 1, cord yourself. I mean, you ain't got to go with a freaking $7,000 camera setup like what I got. But even just so much as your cell phone. You record with your cell phone and have footage to look back on at the mistakes that you made, the successes that you made, and really just like to be able to study yourself. That is a huge advantage that we have nowadays with our technology and everything, that people back in the 90s or whenever jiu-jitsu was created, they didn't have that back then. We have it now. So definitely use that to the best of your ability. You don't have to get deep into the camera game. I mean, your cell phone's good enough. You can get a GoPro. You can get you a mirrorless camera. If you guys want recommendations on a camera, feel free to leave a comment and I'll totally give some recommendations to you guys. Number 2, focus on your frames. Framing against your training partner, your opponent, whoever you're going against, will be the difference between them getting the best offensive position on you and you being stuck or you getting caught in a submission or a choke or whatever. Knee shields, getting their hips away from you with your feet, with your hands. I mean, whatever you could do to get your opponent away from you. The frames is huge. And there is certain things that you can do to frame better, to be ahead of your opponent. I mean, there's a lot of different framing techniques that you can do to not get stuck in a position and to be able to transition out of whatever fucked up position you're getting put in at the time being from your opponent. Number 3, focus on one problem at a time. A blue belt taught me this probably like 6 months into my training. He told me, focus on one move at a time. Let me give you some examples real quick. If you're getting caught in half guard, close guard, whatever sort of guard, right? You're not going to want to try and attack the dude's neck or the girl's neck or their arms. You're not going to want to isolate anything offensively, right? You're not going to want to isolate anything offensively. You want to focus on whatever they have your limbs trapped in. If they have you in close guard, meaning their legs are wrapped around you and you can't get out, right? You literally got to focus on that problem first. It's almost like a system to work your way up to the most advantageous position offensively, okay? So if someone has you in close guard, you're going to want to work from getting their legs off of you, and from there, you go up the ladder, okay? That's been the biggest thing in life for me also. Let me give you some examples real quick. Car breaking down, loss of a job, time with the kids, time with a girlfriend. I don't think I have a girlfriend right now anymore. But anyways, just so many different life problems that can be handled so not effortless, but almost effortless. If you take everything one problem at a time. Remember that for the mats. Number 4, side control. Where you place your hands, where you place your knees, when you have someone inside control, when you're on top of them, that makes the biggest difference to be able to control someone when they're on their back. That has helped me make a huge jump in my jiu-jitsu game. Focus on side control. Focus on being able to control someone when they're inside control, when you have them inside control. Number 5, your mentality. When you go to spar or train with somebody, go into it thinking, what can I work on? What can this person work on? That'll make you a great training partner. And it'll also put the ego that you potentially have to the side. Of course, it feels good to tap someone. Of course, it feels good to win the training session. But you don't need to win the training session. Even if you lose in a training session, think about what you did wrong. And if you listen to the first thing that I said about what you can do to elevate your game, if you actually listen to what I said first about how to elevate your jiu-jitsu game, if you record, you'll see what you did wrong, what your partner did right, and then you can work on it. I had a pretty big problem with trying to bench press people off of me, and it would work majority of the time, but my arms would be dead. Like they would have the pump like a hardcore session with some weights. So that was a way that I was able to use the recording to confirm what I was doing wrong and work on it. Another problem I had was not having my elbows tucked in. If you have your elbows tucked in, they don't have a way to really isolate an arm, a shoulder, or what have you. I was reaching out or reaching up. So if someone was like on top of me or whatever, they'd go to, I don't know, do whatever the hell, and I'd reach up. Well, there you go. There's an arm that's isolated that they could arm bar, they could Kimura, Americana, hit you with a arm triangle. That was the biggest takeaway from figuring out what I was doing wrong and being able to look back at the recordings made all the difference. So it's almost like being diagnosed a problem with your car from a mechanic. So you have your training partners telling you what's wrong, then you can look back at your footage to really see it in person. Because you could have someone tell you something, but not really believe them unless there's video footage. You can't deny video footage. So that's number 5. Just go in with the no ego type of mentality. Just think about it like you can learn off of getting tapped or losing for that spar or that little session that you roll with. So just think about that the next time, or when you do go into spar with your training partner, or even your next competition if you're already training. So to wrap all this up, this beautiful martial art has been probably better than a Band-Aid, honestly, through all the shit that I've been going through over the last year and some change. If you guys are still here, I appreciate you guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you guys are going to start training or if you guys aren't training already. And with that being said, I hope you guys the best, whatever you're going through. Just know that there's options for you. And if you are going through something tough and hard and challenging, leave a prayer hand emoji down below in the comments, and I'll pray for you guys. I wish you guys the best. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I'll have more podcasts coming. You could also find the White Belts Gone Wild podcast on Spotify. If you guys have any social media, I'll link that in the description. Make sure you guys follow me over there. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.